Maya Satyanathan with the Reservoir Center for Water Solutions in Washington, D.C. I'm going to introduce the Deputy Chief of Mission from the Embassy of Sweden in Washington, Ingrid Ask. Oops.
All right. Very well. Good morning, Washington. Good afternoon, Stockholm. And thank you for inviting the Embassy of Sweden in Washington to today's event. Thank you for the introduction, Maya. Again, my name is Ingrid Ask. I'm the Deputy Chief of Mission, or Deputy Ambassador, if you so will, at the Embassy here in Washington. And it's wonderful to see so many of you here on site in Washington, both in person and, of course, all of you watching us virtually from my hometown, Stockholm. I'm very impressed, really, by all the work that is being carried out by the Stockholm International Water Institute, and it's really an honor for me to participate in today's event. And I also want to thank Xylem and Reservoir Center for Water Solutions for hosting this very important conversation on how we can support girls and women to bridge the gap between STEM education to building a career in the water tech industry. And the discussion today will really highlight two main priorities of the Swedish government, and that is, on the one hand, sustainability, and on the other hand, gender equality. And as has been pointed out, those are closely interlinked, and we'll talk so much more about that during today's event. This year, the Swedish government hosted a high-level UN meeting to commemorate this 50th anniversary. And the aim was to contribute to accelerating a transformation that leads to sustainable and green economies and more jobs, and of course, a healthy planet for all, where no one is being left behind. Sweden is currently at the beginning of a very exciting green industrial revolution. That's a long-term and ambitious approach in which we aim to become the world's first fossil-free welfare nation and achieve net zero greenhouse gas emissions by 2045. So to help us to get there, we have enacted policies to enable companies and industries to contribute to the green transition. Thousands of jobs are being created through investments in battery factories, green mining, and fossil-free steel production. And as a result, we see that areas and communities that were previously struggling with unemployment and depopulation, not the least in the north of Sweden, are now instead focusing on how to build housing infrastructure, schools, quick enough to meet new demands and development. It's really an extremely exciting process that we see happening right now in Sweden, many parts of Sweden. We have also proven that it is possible to combine reduced emissions with economic growth. And this is a lesson learned that we want to also show other countries in the world. And that going green is the path to create sustainable growth and jobs and prosperity for all. But of course, we are still far from reaching our goals, and no country can solve the global climate crisis alone, as we are acutely aware. It's crucial that we have global frameworks in place to solve the challenges that we face, well, such as the Paris Agreement and, of course, the very important Sustainable Development Goals. The world, as we can see every day, is currently at the crossroad, experiencing more heat waves, water scarcity, droughts, storms, floods, as we're seeing right now in other parts of the world, rising sea levels, warming oceans. And to link it back directly to today's topic, the challenge of climate change is closely related to water and water management. As you know, Sweden has a very long coastline, one of the longest in Europe, as a matter of fact, and a strong tradition of maritime activities. And a healthy sea is important for our people and our economy. Water is not only home to many animals and plants, but it's also our most. From now, international waters could also become home to new industries and activities. But to create a sustainable blue economy and ensure a resilient world for future generations, we need well-managed and stable ecosystems. Sweden has taken a leading role in implementing the sustainable development goals that I mentioned. Among them, goal number 14, I think many of you are aware of that goal, focusing on conserving oceans, seas, and marine resources. Also, although only 3% of all the world's water, fresh water is an important connector between the different SDGs development goals. More than 1 billion people today lack access to clean drinking water, and 2 billion lack adequate sanitation. And this lack of fresh water is one of the most urgent environmental and development issues of the 21st century. We believe a holistic approach to water management is key to achieving Agenda 2030 successfully. Part of this agenda is to secure a workforce for water and to make use of innovation and technology so that we extract the benefits from the sea without overutilizing it. And this is where the importance of building pipelines for women in STEM comes in. Women are underrepresented clearly in this sector. The World Bank has found that less than 20% of water workers are women, and that women face gender-specific barriers to joining and to staying and growing in the sector, such as lack of role models. I think you all play a very important role here, but also harassment and gender norms also in the sector. And we are yet to realize the benefits from women's contributions and to invest adequately in their skills and talents in this field. Not until we do that, the world will be able to reach its commitment on water and sanitation for all, including to the World Bank. The underrepresentation of women also hampers growth in the global economy. According to the European Institute for Gender Equality, closing the gender gap in STEM would contribute to a 2.2%, more or less, increase in GDP per capita in the EU by 2015. So there is also 2050, I should say. So there is also a very strong economic incentive here. And that is why events such as this one are so important, and why Sweden has placed gender equality at the center of our both domestic and international work in so many different fields. And I look forward to learning from today's speakers, both here and in Stockholm, and their insights on how to get more women and girls into the water technology sector. And thanks again, all of you, for joining us today, and I hope you will enjoy the conversation. Thanks so much.